The Grinch has become an icon of the holiday season, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or Ebenezer Scrooge, but definitely more akin to the latter. He's become a seasonal pop culture icon, and that probably won't change anytime soon. As many popular Christmas characters have, and as you probably already know, the Grinch made his first appearance in literature. The original How the Grinch Stole Christmas story, written by acclaimed children's author Dr. Seuss, was first published in 1957, but that was technically not his first appearance. The character appeared in a poem written by Seuss, published in a 1955 issue of Red Book, titled The Hubbub and the Grinch. It is said that The Grinch was the fastest and easiest book he ever wrote, and that he wrote the book as a way to reconnect with the Christmas spirit. Those close to him said the Grinch was like his alter ego. In fact, they said the Cat in the Hat was Dr. Seuss on his good days, and the Grinch was him on his bad days. Seuss drew inspiration from Clement C. Moore's The Night Before Christmas, and you can definitely see the similarities. Both are told in rhyme, which was business as usual for Dr. Seuss, and both chronicle a visit from a Santa Claus-type figure on Christmas Eve. The book was critically acclaimed and became a staple of the season. The Grinch would continue to make appearances across all types of media, from Broadway musicals to more animated specials, theme parks, and Jim Henson productions. But tonight we're here to talk to him about, we're going to talk to the Grinch. We're here to talk about his film appearances. Naturally, when a book becomes that popular, someone in Hollywood will take notice and want to adapt it for film or television. Theodore Seuss Geisel would meet legendary animation director Chuck Jones while working together on cartoons during World War II for the first motion picture unit of the U.S. Army Air Forces. Jones approached Seuss with the idea to adapt The Grinch for animation, but Seuss was originally hesitant to do so. After his first foray into filmmaking, The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T, that's real, proved to be the biggest flop of his career. He didn't want to adapt any more of his works. I've never seen that film. I didn't know it existed until yesterday. If anyone finds a copy of it, let me know. Anyway, eventually Chuck Jones convinced him to adapt The Grinch. Aside from Walt Disney Studios, Chuck Jones was probably the best person to partner up with on an animation project. Jones was famous for his multitude of work with the Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry. The slapstick and visual gags of those properties translated well to The Grinch, as they needed to pad the story a bit, and things were added like the sleigh ride and all the different ways the Grinch steals gifts. Clocking in at about 25 minutes, How the Grinch Stole Christmas contains about 17,000 cells of hand-drawn animation. Production took about 6 to 8 months with a budget of $315,000. This would be the first time the Grinch would be green, as the illustrations in the book were just black and white. The green color scheme has stuck with the character to this very day. For most of the special, the Grinch's eyes are red when he's being devious and stealing Christmas, but they turn blue when he sees the errors of his ways. Also, early on, the Grinch says he can't stand roast beast in the least, and although he does carve it at the end, if you look close, he never takes a piece for himself. Another visual trick I think is kind of cool. If you look at a visual diagram of the rising and falling action of a story, it's shaped like a mountain, and where does the climax of the story take place? Symbolism. Boris Karloff, who is known mostly for his work in horror films and portraying Frankenstein's monster in multiple films, narrated the special and voiced the Grinch, giving the production its unique voice. He was the only voice actor credited, but there was one notable other. Thurl Ravenscroft, who is famous for giving Tony the Tiger, the mascot of Frosted Flakes cereal, his voice, sings the song "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch." Dr. Seuss was so upset when he found out Ravenscroft wasn't credited, he wrote several letters to many newspapers singing his praises. I guess you could say Seuss thought he did great. Seuss also wrote the lyrics for the songs in the film. How the Grinch Stole Christmas would be the first Seuss book adapted into animation, and there would be plenty more after this, and it premiered on CBS on December 18th, 1966. For a frame of reference, Rudolph premiered in 1964, A Charlie Brown Christmas premiered in 1965, and Santa Claus is Coming to Town premiered in 1970, so this was like a renaissance for Christmas specials. It has aired on television across multiple channels ever since its premiere over 60 years ago, and averages about 15 million viewers every year. How the Grinch Stole Christmas has become a timeless classic. Some would say the Grinch's popularity grew beyond television, and as time went on, filmmakers wanted to adapt it for the big screen. In 2000, Ron Howard directed a live-action adaptation for Universal starring Jim Carrey, which is a guilty pleasure film, but we're not here to talk about it tonight or watch it, maybe next year. And last year, Illumination Entertainment produced a computer-animated film adaptation starring Benedict Cumberbatch as the voice of the Grinch, which we'll learn more about later tonight. But for now, let's see where the Grinch's life on screen began.
As we all know, How the Grinch Stole Christmas is a heartfelt tale of how important family and friends are over the holidays. The Grinch was a sad soul living on Mount Crumpet for 53 years, but he didn't just start there. The newest animated film is just one of 3 adaptations to the classic Christmas story. The Grinch started as Dr. Seuss's picture book, then as an animated TV special, as we just watched. Then it got its remake in the 2000s with Jim Carrey. Many people didn't feel as though this version did the original storyline justice, as there was plenty of crude humor and obscene references to even upset Audrey Geisel, Theodore Seuss's widow, who was in charge of the Seuss estate. After the 2003 Cat in the Hat dumpster fire, she retracted the rights to make any more live-action Seuss movies. And this all changed with the newest version of the Lorax, as Illumination Studios gained a good reputation with Despicable Me and Hop. Universal, who owns Illumination, regained the rights to make a 3D animated version of the Lorax that went off without a hitch. With all-star casts of Danny DeVito, Taylor Swift, and Zac Efron, the Lorax was so revolutionary compared to the other Dr. Seuss films that Illumination was planning the newest Grinch by 2014. Once The Grinch was out in November 2018, it was the highest-grossing Christmas movie, surpassing the previous top, Home Alone. The Grinch had a worldwide gross of $511.6 million, while Home Alone only earned $476.7 million. And I thought I was missing out because I've never seen Home Alone. But of course, it's not ticket sales, it's just money sales and inflation because of the tickets. Technically, Home Alone sold more tickets. Once the Grinch was, Benedict Cumberbatch was first to be cast in the film with the starring role of the Grinch. As Boris Karloff did in the 1966 TV special, they wanted Cumberbatch to play the role with his British accent. However, he thought that if everyone else was American, it would sound weird for him to be British. Because of this, every line the Grinch speaks is said with an American accent. Cumberbatch is well known for his roles in Sherlock, the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Doctor Strange, and Smaug from The Hobbit, but the Grinch is only his second voice acting position in a feature-length film as an animated character, not in motion capture. His first was the Penguins of Madagascar as Agent Classified. Many other famous actors were characters in the newest Grinch, like Cameron Seeley as Cindy Lou Who, known for playing Helen Barnum in The Greatest Showman. Rashida Jones played Donna Lou Who, Cindy Lou's mother, known for her roles in Park and Recreation and the new Christmas film Klaus. Angela Lansbury played Mayor McGurkle. She's known for Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast and the Grand Duchess in Anastasia. And Pharrell Williams narrated, as well as helped Tyler, the Creator, compose the newest version of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, that many people either loved or hated. I personally think it's a bop. The director of the movies included Yarrow Cheney and Scott Moiser. Cheney is known for his work on Despicable Me, both the first and second, and The Lorax. Moiser worked on Good Will Hunting and a few lesser-known movies. There are a few things to look forward to in this movie that are slightly different than the other two. In this adaptation, they seem to have created a more relatable Grinch character, and instead of being vile and horrific, instead he's just misunderstood. And let this movie be a reminder that the holidays are difficult for so many people, so invite a Grinch to your dinner table to turn their day around. The Grinch hides in Mount Crumpet and plays All By Myself on the organ, one of Chris's favorite songs when he closes alone on Wednesday nights. And the only person to hear the Grinch play this is his little dog, Max. In this version, the Grinch isn't as mean to Max as he is in the other stories, and they have more of a connection, which has a little bit more kindness, and I think it makes for an even more heartfelt message. But that's what Illumination Studios does. They make sympathetic anti-heroes that the audience ends up loving. Gru, anybody? There's even some more stuff to look forward to in this adaptation. In the beginning, while the Grinch is being followed by carolers, the carolers' voices are the same voices of the a cappella group Pentatonics, and as an a cappella enthusiast, I think that's pretty cool. Also, while Cindy Lou and Rupert head into their treehouse, they stand on a baseball bat, and the baseball bat says Theodore. This is in reference to Theodore Seuss Geisel, the author of all the wacky Seuss books. Also, take a real close look at the Grinch's fur. The editors had to use a bunch of different texture maps to get the flow of his hair just right as it interacted with snow, wind, and all the different movement he was doing. And there are a total of 12 different types of flowing hair layered on top of each other to create the effect. And as you watch, you may be wondering how they had such a busy town created all in CGI, but to get those continuous camera shots of Cindy Lou sliding around on her sled or on her bike, they actually created a 3D CGI town so they could position the camera in ways that you'd position it just like a set. And the animators say that based off just those shots, you could create a full 3D model of Whoville identical to the set in the movie. I personally think that this story of the Grinch did it justice, and it's the ninth film out of 10 total in this decade from Illumination, with even more coming in the 2020s, like a new Minions movie and a sequel to Sing, and even a new Mario movie. And as the second animated Dr. Seuss movie from Illumination, The Grinch is certainly a Christmas classic reimagined.